or rivers or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts with services ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. Phoenix client management models are built on understanding our clients' security needs and responding with a tailored program that is best fit for them. Phoenix provides excellent customer service through well-trained, highly motivated security professionals. Recruiting highly qualified officers is the first step in building a strong team. Currently, we are comprised of 70% prior law enforcement and military veterans. If you are prior military or law enforcement, go to www.phoenixprotectivecorps.com and apply today.
In the Northwest Wild.
We've got a ballistic solution app on my...
Tuna grounds are on the ocean, Tommy. We're going to do that. Don't go anywhere.
We've got all the great fish that make great fish and chips.
And after work, a cold beer in my hand. Picking wild bears.
Hey, good evening and welcome to Fish Hunt Northwest. Wayne England coming at you live from the Fish Hunt Northwest studios located on the lovely shores of Summit Lake in Olympia, Washington. You may notice a slightly vacant studio. That's okay. Got a great show lined up. Tommy is out on location this evening, and hopefully he's got the camera with him because he's doing some epic activities, so to speak, and it'd be nice for him to capture a little bit of that on film, bring it to you guys next week or two. So I'll be flying solo, but not for long. Have some really, really exciting guests lined up for tonight. I'm excited for this show, and I'm really looking forward to you folks sticking around and paying attention to what it is we're going to bring to you. So a little bit on that further on down, but before we get too far along, I want to thank everybody for signing on tonight. Yep, Larry, solo for a bit. Go ahead, jump on here, hit me with your messages, make your comments, throw it at us, and I'll try to get to as many of those comments and questions as I can throughout the show. I want to remind everybody, hey, if you haven't done so yet, please jump over to our YouTube channel, and subscribe. Go to @FishHuntNW. Find us on YouTube, subscribe to that channel, give us some support. The webpage has had a lot of activity lately, which is fantastic. www.fishhuntnw.com. Check out everything we have going on the webpage. Take a little tour of the store, if you would. Lots of great logo items in there. Always there for you to order up, and we'll get that shipped out. So contact your friends and family. Have them join us this evening. Again, a really good show lined up, and looking forward to getting into it. Number of things to get through tonight. Kind of a focused show with in-studio guests and what the intent is. There is quite a bit of opportunity going on right now as we get into March. That being said, as we roll into March here the next week or two, we'll really start getting back into some great opportunities on fishing and whatnot. But tonight's going to be a little different. Tonight we're going to put the scope on a select group of folks and what they're doing for the betterment of many persons out there. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this. So before we get too far along, a couple things to cover, a couple things to talk about. You know, we got sturgeon retention that has been announced. And we have sturgeon opportunity on March 9th and March 16th from Bonneville Dam up to the Dalles. Now, the interesting thing is these are Wednesdays. We're talking March 9th, March 16th are Wednesdays, which doesn't bode well for the typical recreational fisherman who's out working a 9 to 5 or 4/10s or whatever it is your schedule forces you to do. This works well for guides and retired folks. That's great, but you know, there's a large contingent of folks that aren't too happy about this. Now, when WDFW and ODF&W got together on this, ODF&W's fisheries manager Tucker Jones stated that he was uncomfortable with the impact potential with that much pressure on a retention sturgeon fishery with a one-day opportunity on a Saturday. So they opted to go to 2 Wednesdays. Now, that being said, his numbers would show that 660 of the 675 allotted fish would have been caught, which would be kind of dipping the toe in the 98 percentile pool, which made him a little uncomfortable. WDFW, to their credit, kind of pushed back, said that their 10-year average for recreational anglers shows an average over that 10-year span of basically, you know, getting in and around that 92% of the quota year in and year out. So there wasn't a lot of concern on the WDFW side, but for some reason, as they worked through this process, they landed on that split of 2 Wednesdays. And again, that doesn't do much for us recreational folks that want to take opportunity. Now, again, this is a retention opportunity on sturgeon, and it's hard to retain them if you can't even get out on the water because you're forced to work. It's one of those things that frustrates many. A person that's been kind of tied to the show as of late submitted a lot of information on the Merwin kokanee debacle as it was. Dennis Schwartz, he actually was quoted in Northwest Sportsman's Magazine, the article Andy Walgamont wrote referencing the direction that this is going. And he said, you know, it's very disappointing that working sportsmen were stiffed by the Wednesday opportunities once again. And if you can't manage fisheries without excluding 80% of the license holders, then you may want to rethink your management practices. And I think Dennis is probably, you know, just basically stating what a lot of folks are feeling and the frustrations when we get these opportunities on select fisheries that we don't have come around all too often, and then they kind of pigeonhole you into a Wednesday. So if a lot of you have a number of days in that sick leave bank or want to take opportunity, maybe you can get out there. But you know, as it moves forward, the Wednesdays are going to be very conducive to guides and or retired folks. I guess I soon to be in that category. Anyway, we would hope moving forward that WDFW would consider the percentage of license holders and how many they can hopefully recruit into a fishery by making it on days where we have much more time available. Moving on down the road, we have some smelt opportunity that has been announced. March 5th, we actually get 1 day recreational opportunity. The commercial guys have been out there whacking and stacking, and the numbers seem pretty good. You know, back in the day, we used to get multiple days for smelt. Now, if you're a smelter and love to do the dip netting for smelt, this is going to be your 1 day. Saturday, March 5th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Very limited time, very limited opportunity. But you know, in 2021, 90,000 plus pounds, almost 91,000 pounds were extracted from the rivers where smelt opportunity was available. For a similar same 1 day, 5 or so hour window, there was approximately 10,000 of you folks went out there and dipped for smelt last time in 2021, and there's a high probability that there's going to be just as many folks out there once again going after smelt. It's going to be on the Cowlitz River. Your opportunity is from Highway 432 Bridge upstream to the Al Hellenberg Memorial Boat Ramp, and you have, again, you got a 5-hour window. Again, the parameters on that, and you got to pay attention to this because WDFW does come out with a little more effort to check and make sure folks aren't taking more than they are allotted to. And that is 10 pounds per smelt dipper. Basically, it's about a quarter of a 5-gallon bucket. So if you have about a quarter of the 5-gallon bucket filled, then you have your limit. So you do not want to exceed that 10 pounds. There are citations written every time we have a smelting day. Folks do take more than they are allowed to do so. Each individual smelter must have a possession limit of 1 for the individual. And you know, the interesting thing is there is no license required. There's a quota that they got to hit, but there is no license required for you to actually participate in Smelt. So take opportunity of it. You know, if it's not a nasty weather day, which Saturday looks to be pretty decent, get the kids out there, but be mindful. The Cowlitz is still raging extremely high. I didn't check the level today, but it may be upwards around the 20,000 mark. The water is going to be extremely high up on the bank. And don't extend out into the water all too far. The current's probably moving faster than you would think. And we do not need to lose some folks simply by dipping for smelt. No life is worth dipping for smelt. So just an opportunity for folks to take advantage of, and hopefully you do so, but please be careful. The river is going to be extremely high. You know, March is a great opportunity to start getting back outdoors. The weather starts getting a little better. We have a number of things that are opening up as we, you know, are on the front edge of spring rolling out here. And there's a lot of things to consider. Razor clam digs are back on. Of course, they started actually March 1st, and through the 4th here, we do have a number of opportunities at a number of different beaches. Check your local regulations to determine exactly which beaches are open. But, you know, we have some opportunity with some daylight hours. And as we move into the latter part of March, we're going to have more dates announced. And we're getting into those mid-morning tides, which are really great for getting the kids out there. And the weather becomes a little nicer, really becomes a real family-friendly event. So take advantage of these dates coming up. There are millions, literally millions of clams to take advantage of. Spring Chinook season has officially started. March 1st through April 6th, Lower Columbia to Bonneville. So it is now officially open. Though we had folks out there in February chasing after the unicorn. A few have been caught. Seems to be a few more here on occasion. It's really going to start heating up about mid-March or so, that latter part of March. I think we're going to see some decent numbers. Again, we have far more spring Chinook to go after this year. I believe in around 121,000, if I remember right, which exceeds last year's numbers, which is fantastic. So look forward to that. Spring Chinook season is on. Blackmouth, aka Winter Chinook, in full swing. We got Area 10 still open. Actually going to try to get the boat out tomorrow. Looking to get up there in Area 10 and cruise around for a bit, see if we can't stumble into a few. I'll tell you what, CQ is absolutely on fire. CQ is kicking out numbers of blackmouth that pretty much makes any person who would like to pursue some blackmouth this time of year, CQ is your destination. Yeah, it's a bit of a drive if you're in around this area or Tacoma, what have you, but well worth it. If you can get out there for a few days, get the boat in, or connect with some buddies who may already be out there with their boat in the slip. It's definitely fishing well. You have a 2-fish limit, hatchery marked only, but this fishery goes on through the end of April. So there's still plenty of time to get after it, but the early numbers are extremely impressive. And you have the opportunity to actually encounter a much larger blackmouth out there as we get those transitioning springers coming on through the straits. Great opportunity to take advantage of. I suggest you do so. Eastern Washington Trout Opener is March 1st on selective lakes. It's an annual over there. Some of them are still covered by ice, but the ice anglers get out there. The trout season is in full swing on the east side. Now, if you're over here on the west side, don't get confused or mix my words. The official trout lowland lake opener for all of Washington State, which predominantly includes this west side, is the 4th Saturday of April. Always the 4th Saturday of April. And I believe that's April 23rd this year, if I'm remembering right. 4th Saturday of April for the general lowland lake opener. But on the east side of Washington, currently March 1st marks traditionally a number of lakes will open up for the trout opener. The other thing you can do, you can go to WDFW, take a look at their trout plant information. Go to WDFW Catchable Trout Plant Reports page. Okay, WDFW Catchable Trout Plants Reports page. Google that. It's going to come right up to it. All these lakes that are open year-round, they periodically get a number of trout planted throughout the year. And this time in March, they start really stocking some lakes. The water's starting to warm up a little bit. Most of these fish are found on the surface. You don't have to go very deep to find them at all. The lake is just going to start warming up here as we get into March, start getting some sunny days, start warming that water a bit. But these trout are aggressive. They bite well. They're hungry. They feed well. It's still wintertime in their mind. So they're looking for anything they can get. There's not a lot of bug activity on the water right now because the temperatures are cold. But the plant trout The other thing you want to look for is any of the lakes that plant some of your larger trout, some of your so-called jumbos. They may even categorize a few of them as triploids. Those lakes are out there. They're year-round. It's a great opportunity. Let's face it, our steelhead season is shut down. If you want to drive to CQ to encounter some great opportunity on blackmouth, that's great. How long is Area 10 going to remain open for blackmouth? Not sure. Our sturgeon fisheries are, a couple days here, a couple days there. Trout are pretty much everywhere. And the opportunity to get kids out on nicer days, well worth the time, okay? So check that out if you haven't. If you're looking for something to do, want to get the boat out of the garage, start getting it ready for spring, trout's a good way to go after it. The other thing you got to pay attention to, bottom fish off the coast is going to be opening up here in March, I believe, starting March 12th, yep, through October 15th. March 12th, bottom fish off the coast. I'll tell you what makes a great bait for lingcod and eventually halibut. Some of these planter trout that you're catching, 11, 12 inches that you don't want to particularly fillet out and eat, go ahead and throw them in the freezer hole. No need to clean them. And as we move forward here, getting deeper into the season, Tommy and I will be back in the bait lab showing you guys how to cure those up to make some exceptional bait for halibut, but also lingcod. Lingcod love trout and kokanee. Halibut love trout and kokanee. And yes, you can use them for bait in saltwater fisheries, perfectly legal in the state of Washington. Trust me on that one, okay? People always question it, but been doing it for years, and it works extremely well. All right, as we move along here, running down the show, told you we had some great guests in studio tonight. Well, I'm not lying. We'll introduce you to Four Season Fighters. Who are they and what do they do? Who do they serve? You'll have much respect for these guys once we get later into the show, and you'll see what this is all about. A fantastic video to see as well with the Four Season Fighters getting a disabled Army veteran, Aaron Boyle, out on his first mule deer hunt, successful mule deer hunt, emotional experience. Hoping we can keep it together in here. Got a bunch of softies, a few firemen in the house this evening. So we'll get through this. It's going to be heartfelt, and I hope you guys stick around because you're going to enjoy this story. Then we'll also be checking in with our buddy J-Rod. Later on the show, Jaime Rodriguez, J-Rod angling, what's happening on the walleye front. It's a great time of year to be chasing them. Pay attention as J-Rod is going to get you the info you need. And then we'll be closing out the show with the guys in studio later in the show, and plenty to continue to talk with them about. And I also have some bits of info from WDFW, some interesting things that happened with this extreme high water in the floods and some of the death toll in a few of our hatcheries. So with that, we're going to bounce out of here for a quick couple-minute break. While we're out break, go ahead, dial up your friends, get a hold of everybody you know, tell them to tune in tonight. Want to show these guys much respect and a lot of support, okay? When we come back in studio here after this break, Four Season Fighters will be here. You'll meet them, get to know them. Tell your friends to join us. This is going to be really good. All right, we'll bounce out for a couple minutes, be back right here, Fish Hunt Northwest.
Portco, an outdoor emporium, is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Yep, for sure.
Oh yeah, big fish. Yeah, buddy. Nice fish. Oh, beauty. Gorgeous fish.
Bobby's on the board.
We got a good one.
Oh yeah. Oh, 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 geez, come on.
Nice fish. Nice fish.
Hi, this is Joe and Megan from Archery World. We have 4 store locations. We are at the Lacey location right now. I just want to highlight some of our camping gear. We have Mystery Ranch packs. We also have trekking poles. We have crispy boots. We have 6 Hour optics. We carry Havalon knives. We carry Garmin products as well. So it's not just archery. We want to try to make this one-stop shopping for you guys. And so if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
Hey, welcome back, Fish on Northwest of Wayne, England. Kind of flying solo tonight, yes. Thomas Donlin, you know, the guy that's down like 45, 48 pounds probably now, is vacant. Yeah, he's not here, and he's out doing some really fun things. I'm a little bit jealous, but I have these 3 outstanding gentlemen sitting next to me, which we'll get to in a second. JB, thanks for checking in. Matthew Brown, nice to see you guys on here. Corey, all the usuals are on here. JJ, appreciate you putting it out there for us tonight, buddy. Lots of you guys checking in. If I can get to your questions throughout the break, I will definitely try my best to get that done. So, want to introduce these 3 gentlemen to my immediate right. Did I just lose my microphone? It doesn't sound like it. Anyway, nope, we're good. Okay. From my right, I guess to your left, I'm guessing on that because I can't tell. Anyway, Zach Ames, Mike Groff, and Tim Cohen. How are we all doing there, boys?
Good.
Doing good.
Yeah?
Thanks for having me.
Did you realize what you're in for tonight here? Or?
Not exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to that. So we are introducing you to these fine gentlemen as they are the brains behind Four Season Fighters. Established 2019, I think, when you guys told me thereabouts.
Yeah, 2000 late November 2018.
Okay, all right, so I was close. What was the genesis of it? How'd you guys kind of? First of all, what's each of your affiliation? What's your position on the board, or how's that all work?
So I'm the president. Mike's the secretary. Tim's one of our field staff, and then we have 3 board members that aren't here. Brittany Smith is our treasurer. Mm-hmm. Tyler Beans, an executive member, and that's it. Oh, and Mark Peffer is another field staff.
Okay.
And Jose Martinez.
Oh, yeah. Jose is our VP. Sorry, Jose.
Yeah. Sorry, Jose. VP. Yeah, you know, a lot of people nowadays are forgetting about the VP. It's okay, right? It's just kind of how it works. So, anyway, you guys, okay, so right around 2019, end of 2018, 501(c), complete nonprofit, and you guys are doing some amazing things. How did this come together? What was the spark? What got this idea going?
So Jose, our vice president, he's my best friend. We deployed together. So on my second deployment, Jose's first, he was my machine gunner, my saw gunner for my squad. He stepped on IED. He's a triple amputee. He's missing both legs and his right arm. Mm-hmm. And he'd been getting into hunting. He went down and did a ram hunt down in Arizona. And then I got the opportunity to go down with that same organization with a couple buddies that we all deployed together. And we got to take some rams, and we kind of kicked it around for a while. That was I want to say that was 2016 when Mark and I went down there. And we kind of kicked it around for a while, didn't really know if we wanted to do it, something we wanted to commit to. And then Jose, he wanted to go on a mule deer hunt. And so I was like, well, I think we can make that happen. So I talked to my buddy Tyler, who his parents are gracious enough to let us use their house over in Brewster.
Oh, yeah.
And so he got it set up to where we could hang out over there. I met Tim through Access Roofing, and we're trying to figure out a way to get Jose up the mountain. And he knew somebody that had a track chair, and they let us borrow the track chair. It's got big tracks on the side and a joystick and mount for the rifle and all that.
We'll see that later on in the video.
Yeah, you'll see that in the video. Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, so we got it set up, and we started talking, myself, Tyler, and Jose, about how, we'll just use this as a test trip.
Sure.
Right? And Jose said, if you can get me a deer, you can get anybody a deer.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're like, okay, cool. Yeah. And then Mike, we worked together at Bothell Fire, and we'd been talking, and I had asked him if he was going hunting, and he was like, I don't really think so. And I told him what we were doing, and he's like, I think
I'm in.
I'll come out there.
Yeah, there you go.
So, that was kind of the starter of the trip, and the stories. So the first morning we get up, it's 3:30. We woke up
early.
Yeah, we drive out there, we get the track chair out, and we're going through the dark, and everybody had a light except Jose in the chair, right? So there's a little, right, we're growing pains, right? Before we're starting the test trip.
Driver don't need a light.
Yeah. So he ran over every stick and stump that you could find in that track chair on the way up there, and we went up some steep stuff. It was steep. We had to push on the back of the track chair, and Ty took the bag and the rifle and climbed to the top, and we get to the top, and the wind's just ripping. Oh. It's going 30 miles an hour, easy. And we're all hiding behind Jose. He said, just sit behind me, and we're passing coffee. He's like, I'm wearing shorts, but I don't have my legs, so it's not that cold. So, it gets light out. Yeah. Dawn starts to break, and we start seeing some movement down on the bottom of this hole, and there's a big buck down there. The problem is it was so far away. We're about 800 yards at that point. We couldn't get Jose into a spot where, he could take a shot at the deer.
And you got that whole wind thing going on.
Yep. And Jose's like, I don't want to pass up a big buck just because you can't get me there. So Mike and I dropped down the hill. I ranged it. I think it was 524, 504. Something. It was over 500 yards and he smoked it. It's awesome. Good shot. So we get down there, we pack it out, and we go back down the hill, and Jose's like, I'm not going down that. So you went up it.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not the same when it's light. He's like, I didn't go up that. You're the only one out here with something with tracks on.
Right.
Right? Those are tracks. So
I'm not going down that.
Yeah, right. We get him down. We get everything back and packed out. And I think Mike had to leave the next day. Yep. And then we ended up going out to Bridgeport, up just above Chief Joseph Dam. There's a little piece of state up top there. And I set Jose up on top of the hill, and Ty and I kind of walked down to see if we could bump something up top where Jose's sitting in the chair, because the access wasn't too good. Well, I ended up having a little run-in with a big cat. Oh. And it was a little unsettling. So I came back up the hill, and I told him, I said, there's nothing here, right? It's a 150-acre plot of state land, so that cat's there. It's not going to be there. So we loaded up, and we were heading out, and I said, well, let's stop by this rancher's house. His name's Dan Cavadini with the Cavadini Partnership, and just knocked on his door. He actually pulled up. He wasn't home, and he pulled up when we were getting ready to leave. He's like, can I help you? I was like, hey, I just want to let you know. So you got a bunch of cattle and some calves. There's a cat down there, heads up. And he saw Jose's chair, and Jose got out, and he's like, oh, what are you guys doing? Yeah. Well, we were telling him kind of what we were doing. He's like, oh, you guys can hunt my land. Go down here. The bucks are all sitting down to the left. He's like, go ahead and take a buck. Call us when you get it. So we said, that's awesome, right?
How about that?
Put Jose in the back of the truck. Yeah. In the chair. Yeah. Drove till we saw him, stopped, backed him down, and we had to go. It was about 400 yards. Ty was back looking through the binos. I'm holding on to the chair, telling Jose to roll, and I'm looking at Ty because he's watching the doe and the bucks, and we're trying to go through this wheat field, and so we're stopping and going. We hit about 300 yards, and he's shooting a Savage 338 Lapua. We hit 300 yards. Picked him up, set him down in the prone, got him lined up, and this big buck walked out, and he's like, that's the buck I want. I said, take it. Boom. Dropped it right there where it stood.
How about that?
Called Mr. Cavadini out, and he helped us load it up, and ever since then, that was kind of what kick-started it. It's pretty special hunt.
So the the purpose of you guys forming this group is to cater to those that need some help. Persons that want to be in the outdoors, maybe even persons that don't know they want to be in the outdoors, to introduce them to it, the opportunity, fishing and hunting. And you've been successful in your own right in getting a handful of folks out thus far. And you're mostly focused on veterans, physically disabled, but also those suffering from mental anguish, right? We have some PTSD that riddles all of us to one point in the line of work we're in. So you guys are mostly catering to veterans, fire, and police. Is that right?
Yep. That's correct.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Usually so far, the pattern has been that most of our hunts are veterans that we've taken out, and then we do a couple guided fishing trips over for sockeye. Was it Aswell?
Yeah.
Aswell. Yeah. And then some kings down out of Desert Air.
Sure.
Right, and we keep those, and the goal of that, because we've only been going for 3 years, right, and we're a little small, is to create the relationship at Bothell Fire and Bothell PD. So far we've taken out, the Bothell Fire guys and Bothell PD, and just to kind of build that relationship.
Sure.
That way, we work together all the time, so why not go have some fun together?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we all, work with police agencies, whatever department or organization you're with, and some of these relationships are really strong, and other ones at times, believe it or not, we struggle. Personality conflicts or whatever it is, or just stress of the job, more so than not. But, it's not one to overlook. To say, that just because you don't see a physical disability on somebody is they're not hurting, or they couldn't benefit from this type of opportunity, right? And kind of change their focus or get them out and away from it for a bit of time. Talk a little bit about what the emotional experience is when you get somebody out there. Like, we're going to watch a video here later on in the show of Aaron Boyle. First opportunity he had to get out and get on a hunt. And what was that on an emotional side of things for him? How did that affect him? How did that change his life? Mike, you want to weigh in on some of that?
I mean, I think part of, when we started this, part of, the physical disabilities or injuries are obvious, right? But then in the line of work that we do, there's a lot of the traumatic stress injuries, right, and disorders. And so, but those are kind of the unspoken 900-pound gorilla that sits in the corner that nobody wants to talk about.
Yep.
And fortunately or unfortunately, those of us that have some pretty firsthand experience with that, like, we've seen whether in our own lives or in our friends' life, kind of the effect that has on the families. And so, we wanted to have, I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it in my friends and other folks. And this kind of job attracts a certain type of person, right? And, and we aren't always very good at recognizing and asking for help, right? And the progression can be slow, or death by 1,000 cuts. And, so it just, for me personally and for us, it was like, what can we do because, people start withdrawing or, closing out their friends or stop doing the things that they like doing, and everything becomes hyper vigilant and protective. So what can we do to get people re-engaged, back out and hunting and fishing, or if they haven't, or get involved with their families. And, so for a guy like Aaron, who was in a tough spot too, I don't know if it's more rewarding for us or for him, but, you get a guy like that out there, and you have an experience like we have, and you work hard together, and you spend all that time, and then when all the pieces come together, right, and it snaps in that moment, right, when he got that deer, and we're all losing our minds, and and I wish he was here to speak for that, but those are the kind of things that still give me goosebumps, like thinking about, because that genuinely changed his life, right? And to where, being in a rough spot, and then now he's, he has this experience, and he's excited, and we're all excited, and there's a trickle down for that, which one of these guys talk about, but it's, he's, we gave, part of what we do is when we equip these guys, we take them out, we give them all the stuff, because we don't want it to be you go out and we take you on this guided hunt and we high five and then you're off and you can figure it out on your own, right?
Yeah.
We want to equip you to, have it be a generational thing. And
we're gonna see that in the videos. So we're not gonna give too much away on that whole regard, because then people will be like, oh yeah, this is where we're gonna go get a beer or something. But I want people to focus and pay attention to what is in this video when they get Aaron Boyle out on his first ever mule deer hunt, and just the look on this man's face when it's all said and done, and the look on you guys, right? It's just it's unbelievable. So for you guys, I can't imagine. I mean, the sense of accomplishment. You know, there's a sense of accomplishment, I would think, just by getting a person who may be really struggling on a mental side of things. Of course, there's, you know, you can visualize physical impairments, but the mental side of things, the mental psyche portion of this, to get those folks to say, okay, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do this. And then to actually get them out there and do it. Now, the hunt you guys went on, trekking up with Jose, trekking up the mountain in the dark and, you know, up there in the cold elements and whatnot, there could have been no animals killed that day, right? Yeah. There's still some success to take away from that. Jose has a different perspective on things in life that he can now, you know, figure out, hey, am I, you know, capable of doing this? How do I continue to do this? Does this light a fire in me, right? I mean, there's a lot of things there just on the emotional side for persons to really take away from these things, whether they get an animal or a fish or a turkey or whatever. Tim, you've got a number, if you look into some of the social media stuff you put out there, you got a number of folks out there on turkey hunts and stuff, and you've been filming this stuff for years, and you connect with these guys to capture what it is you guys are all doing, and, you know, so there's that side of it. You get to present these guys with a video of some sort, or, you know, let them relive their experience, show it to friends. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was, like Zach said, we met some, I work for Stonewood Roofing Supply Monday through Friday, territory manager, outside sales guy, and Zach's mom worked for Axis Roof and Gutter, and she kept telling me, you got to meet Zach and Jose, you know, you got to meet these guys, they're great. And ever since we met, it's just, non-separable, right? We plan hunts, do trips. And
year-round doing something.
Get hooked up with all these guys. The whole board's amazing. It's been, it's hard to talk about because it's what we're doing. We see it. You know, like picking Aaron up for his hunt and talking with him and his mindset. You know, I was just like, man, I'm kind of worried about this guy. You know, I talked to him this morning, and he's got a job. He was struggling getting a job before the hunt. He actually got a job at the gun store that we sent the rifle to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he tells me this morning he just got promoted to assistant manager.
Look at that.
And it's like, and you
just don't know where this is going to go. I mean, for some of these folks, it's completely life-changing. I mean, you guys, if you haven't already, you're going to deal with people that are at that brink. They're at that breaking point. They're at that, you know, it's like, man, there's, you know, life is just too hard. Life is just, there's too much work. And I mean, those of us without any disabilities or impairments, it's easy for us to bitch about that on days too, with kids and the fast-paced life that we all live now, and just how everybody's all about themselves at times. But, you know, aside from that, these folks that are truly struggling, I mean, they get up every day, and there's days where they're like, man, again, really? You know, Lord, I get to do this again, and just, you know, get through my day trying to get in and out of my chair, or whatever it is, right? And now you get them out there and introduce them to something like this. And it just, I mean, the light bulb goes off. I can't imagine what you guys experience when you see that connection.
Well, I think there's, there's, you know, I think all of us have that, right? Where you wake up and you're like, oh, you know, it's just another day of rain, or it's another day of pain.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or another day of whatever.
It's
you
easy.
didn't sleep good, or and for me, when we go on these trips, right, we always tell everybody the harvest of the animal is a bonus, right? You can never promise it, right? So far we've been successful on every hunt that we've been on.
How about that?
Right?
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. Yeah. But what it's about for me, it's about the experience, right? And it's, I think, for me, when I got out of the Army, right, you go your separate ways. You know, I spent, you know, one individual specifically, Skylar Eden, right? We did both our deployments together. He was my sergeant when I was a private. He was my staff sergeant when I was a sergeant.
How about that?
Sergeants together. We were in the same platoon on both deployments.
How many years were you in?
6 years.
Okay.
So we went through a lot together, and then you get out and everybody just goes poof, right? Yeah. And then you go home, and I think you're just misunderstood, right? As a vet, and I think you can isolate yourself because you just don't want to have to explain yourself.
Sure.
Right? So a big part of this trip for me what I hope helps the people that we take out, but for sure helps me, is being able to sit around a fire or go glass some bucks or sit in a boat and, you know, troll or jig or whatever we're going to do.
Yeah.
But just talk and have that shared experience, because, you know, no matter who we bring out, it only takes about 15 minutes. And then it's just like you've known each other forever, right? And it's because we have that shared experience, and I think that's immediately healing.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say with, you know, like, it's even with Aaron's hunt, like before, like that was a win. That was a win before we even got to see the animal, right? I mean, because we'd gone over there early and set up camp, and you're doing all those things and getting him sighted in on the rifle, and right, you're having these. It's building that community and those relationships, right? And so it was amazing even prior to getting a deer, right? But then, you know, you have waking up in the morning and watching that God's beautiful sun come up, and like all that stuff just is, you know, it's super impactful. And then, you know, to be fortunate enough and blessed enough that by the end of that, you know, to be able to get an animal too is just like, you know, through the moon.
Yeah, it's incredibly emotional.
Oh, I can't imagine.
It's unreal.
I don't know if I could do it. I just turned into an old softie, but
all of us,
I don't like to do it, right? So
we're
all a mess.
Well, you know, there's something about wearing the uniform. It doesn't matter if you're in services or, you know, police or fire. I mean, there's a connectivity there that you just don't take for granted. And for those in public society that haven't ever put on the uniform to serve in either or any of those capacities, they may not quite get it. But amongst that group of those that serve under one badge or another, there's a connectivity there that's strong. And so, Zach, if you had never spent time in the Army and you guys were a couple of firemen that decided you were going to do this, you still would have the ability to connect. Now, I think it's deeper on the military side of things for any vet that you guys pull in because of your time in and what you saw and what you've been exposed to and what you've done, and then your connection on the fire service. Trust me, I get it, you know. I mean, 35 years, there's a lot of garbage up here, right? So, yeah. Oh.
Yep.
Okay, with that.
Yep. Well, and that's why, you know, I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing, right? Because this is a need. You know, we've known it's been a need for a long time, and no, you know, it's not something that's been addressed to the capacity it should have for a long time. And as much as we think that we know and we're learning and understanding, like, we also know the need far surpasses any ability we have to understand how deep and how many and how wide, right? Like we all are, you know, there's a lot of guys and gals that are suffering, and, you know, I'll take my experience a little bit. Like, there's some of us that didn't even know that was, you know, there's a lot of people that are suffering, but they don't understand that they're in the middle of it, or it's about to get to the end of a really bad road. And you know, so that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, it's extremely good stuff. And so what we're going to do, we're going to jump out for a quick break. I'm going to recompose. I don't want you to go anywhere. When we come back from this break, you're going to be able to watch Aaron Boyle go out and successfully get his mule deer on this hunt. It is something that you are going to appreciate, and it's something that when it's all said and done, you're definitely going to respect. So don't go anywhere. Call your friends, tell them to join in, take a look at this. Guarantee you're going to enjoy this. So back after the quick break, and the video will be back here in studio. Don't go anywhere. Get to the video here, a couple minutes, right here at Fishing Northwest.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima Boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
There's something about being in the woods and being in nature that it just, for me, it's incredibly healing, and I don't always know the right words to describe it.
You're running out of good times, 'cause I'm coming off the sideline. I'm a real fighter and you don't matter to me, you don't matter to me. I'm rising up now, no I won't back down, taking my shot now, make you my background. I'm rising up now.
My name's Aaron Bole. I served in the United States Army as an 11 Bravo infantryman. I was a team leader slash squad leader. I served 5.5 years, 2 deployments, one to Iraq in 2008 to 2009 and one in Afghanistan for just 2010, because that's the year I got blown up.
What's up, bro?
Saw a good one.
Yeah?
Laying down up there.
Getting pumped?
Yeah, definitely getting pumped.
Well, dude, wanted to get you set up so
Sweet.
that you can hunt now and you can continue on after we're done here.
Awesome, appreciate
So
it.
that table and that rifle is yours.
Whoa. That's awesome,
Fuck
brother.
yeah, appreciate it, man. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That's freaking, you guys definitely did not have to do that, but I, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
With organizations like Four Season Fighters and Iron Freedom Foundation, that they just help build that confidence again and take us out on hunts and fishing and just adventures to boost our morale and kind of bring that camaraderie back.
I've got to get to know Zach and Jose pretty well. And working with them, being able to do trips and capitalize on getting veterans out and just getting them out.
Yeah, I chased around, got a couple of different plans and tried a morning hunt and got to see lots of deer, but nothing really manifested in the moment. And so we tried a later one later that afternoon.
We're gonna move up onto this hill to get a better view of the field, so we don't have any other dips or dives that we can't see, and hopefully find this 4-point buck and put him down.
Make you my background.
been sitting here glassing for about an hour and a half, and Cameron is on the other side trying to bump these mule deer over to us. We got cows all around us going crazy, so we if he can bump them over to us, Aaron will have a shot at about 350 yards, and he's super confident with that shot, so hopefully we can get one of these bucks.
Yeah.
And the buck started moving around, and I was kind of hiding behind the truck a little bit, glassing, and I was glassing up some bucks at 700-800 yards out. And I pulled off the spot and scope, and I looked over at Tim, and Tim's like, "We're gonna shoot." And I was like, 700 yards? I'm like, man, it's a long shot. I was a lot of, what are they talking about over there? Then I looked at his rifle, and he's pointing a different way than I'm looking through my spot and scope. I'm standing behind a rock pile, so I couldn't see the buck. So I plugged my ears and waited for the shot and heard the shot, and you could hear it just slap. And I think Mike levitated off the ground and walked about 20 yards and laid down, and that was it.
That feels so good. I'm so happy. Thank you. Oh man. Oh shit.
Yes. Good job, dude. 360. 360.
I think I hit him low.
No, dude, it was clean through the pump out. So I watched him push it.
If you're looking, you sat down. Down like that hard. Oh, yeah.
All I could hear in my headset was my heart going, dum, 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 dum. And then when I took my breath, my heart went, and it was.
So, Aaron just shot his buck. Me and Marcos are walking over now. They're getting him loaded up in the wheelchair. We're running out of light, so we're gonna try to get some photos and some video of it before and get situated for when they come over to the buck. So it all worked out. Day one opening, super pumped. What an incredible experience it was for me and Marcos to document this. So they've never really had one of their hunts documented for the nonprofit, and being able to be here, I mean, like, it was like emotional to me when I saw that, it finally bedded down, and it's a down deer. So we're gonna go find and get some content.
And this hunt was a godsend for everything that they've done. I've never been hunting, and this experience has definitely made it a trait that I want to teach my kids and pass on and teach them to survive and be able to teach their kids and be a part of that with my grandkids, that'll be able to accomplish more now in my life than I ever thought I could.
Well, there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Aaron Boyle, as you could look and see on that man's face, I mean, is there any greater success than, there's a lot of effort going on here to pull something like this off. And there may be a few that dismiss, God forbid you do, to say, oh, they drive him out there in a truck and drop him off, and he sits in a motorized chair. Yeah, okay. And then there's 364 days of the year where every day is a struggle for this guy or anybody that's in that similar situation, right? So I take that at face value and just go, what an amazing experience, what a great opportunity. I don't really care if you got to take some of these folks into a high fenced area. I don't care what it takes to get them You know, and some of these folks with disabilities, you're getting them up in tree stands, you're getting them in ground blinds, you have a lot of different opportunities for them. But let's just talk real quickly a little bit about the emotional side of that. You know, Aaron's take on the whole thing, and Tim, you kind of mentioned it, but you know, kind of what it's done for him now, what his outlook on life now has somewhat of a change, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
He just got a prosthetic made for holding a bow, and we're getting him a PSE.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we're getting him a PSE bow here in the next week or two, and he's set up to go on a hunt with us September 1st over at 257 Outfitters, a buddy of mine that manages some land that the Otsby's Ranch. Eric and his wife let us come out there and bring vets and shut the whole place down. And you know, we have multiple ranches. Butt Ranch over in Curlew lets us do the same thing with turkey, and it's nice to have a place. They shut it down. You don't have to worry about people driving through their motorbikes or whatever. The success rate goes through the roof.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
that's awesome.
It's no high fence. You know, not against it, but we just don't. We don't do high fence.
There's not a lot of high fenced area over here, but I'm talking other parts of the nation that's kind of a go-to. But you're talking $100,000 acre establishments and what have you, right? So, but here, you guys are mostly staying in the Northwest and whatnot. For now, we'll get into some of that little stuff later as we close out the show. But just what an amazing experience. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think, well, as far as you know, I can speak for Aaron a little bit, but I can't speak for him. I can speak for what I've seen since the hunt.
Sure.
You know, the hunt, we can start with when we went shooting, right? We got a 0. So he's right-handed and right-eye dominant, but he lost his right arm in the blast. So now we're teaching him how to shoot left-handed with his non-dominant eye. So when we're at the range, we have his Oakleys with a sticker over his a shoot and see sticker that we cut and put over his right eye because he couldn't close. Yeah, he couldn't close his right eye without closing both of his eyes. So we, built his confidence up. We shot at 50, got him on paper. Shot at 100, got him dialed, and then we had a gong out at 280. 300, just about 300, and so he started hitting the gong and you could see the confidence build. We're like, okay, and it kind of builds the confidence of the team. Yeah, that gives us a little bit more room to work, right? Yep.
And do you, not to interrupt, do you do that with, like, each individual you're going to get out on whatever trip you're planning for them? Do you get with them, gauge their abilities, obviously, and their ability to shoot a gun and handle a firearm and, go through the process, whether it's going to be for turkey or, big game or even, fishing, make sure that they're able to somehow, hold the pole, and if not, I mean, there's different devices that have been developed for persons with limited limb disabilities to, hold fishing rods and be able to take on that stuff. So you guys, to me, it sounds like you're putting the time far ahead of the event, obviously, to prepare for it.
We got lucky. So actually the creator and producer of that film, Cameron Cushman.
Not worthy.
Yeah.
He's been on here tonight, Cameron. Great job. Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's the man.
For sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
He works for a company where he's got some awesome connections with some good people, and Bog sent out this tripod, their death grip tripod, and Don from Riverside Roofing bought that rifle, donated for Aaron.
Gotcha.
Right? And Crimson Chase is has partnered with us, and super, grateful for them, and got the scope dialed in. Cantrell Outdoors put everything together, got it bore-sighted, good to go, and then so you set it in the tripod and spin the wheel, and it clamps it, and so he doesn't actually have to hold it up himself, right? It's big, it's sturdy, it's good, right? Heavy rifle, heavy tripod, so he can be pretty stable. So
nice.
And then having the track chair, he can go, he can lean back and forth, and
But even talk about the logistics of that, and like we've been lucky enough to have good people and some landowners let us come on there, right? But talk about Aaron's deal and just the accomplishment of that. I mean, like you talk about a guy who's never shot this rifle, now has to learn to shoot opposite-handed, opposite eye. Never hunted before. He made a 361-yard one-time shot on a mule deer and dumped it, right? And after getting positioned in the chair, I mean, like that all by itself. I fancy myself a decent shot, but there's not a lot of us that have made 300-plus yard shots.
Like, it's not just, it just doesn't happen, right? I mean, there's a lot of effort put in here, and, by the good grace of God, and things just come together, and the work you guys are doing to get these folks out, I mean, I can't commend you enough. This is just fantastic. I'm glad we've connected. I'm glad you guys, Fish Hunt Northwest will continue to work with you, and as we move forward, whether hunting and fishing in all regard, and try to get some of our sponsors on board to help out with this, because it's a heck of a program you guys have started up, and I'm 100%. We're 100% in, 100%. So
it's awesome. Thank you.
Really, really good stuff. Okay, we're going to jump out for a short break here. We come back and change gears a bit. We are going to have some fishing talk this evening. I promise you that. Jaime Rodriguez, J-Rod, our buddy who have not spoke to for a bit, but walleye season is in full swing. We're coming off of the winter months. As we begin to roll into spring, we have lots to talk about. Jaime's been out there chasing some fish around. So J-Rod in the house, on the phone, actually. We come back from this break right here at Fish Hunt Northwest.
Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21 foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road. Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
New days, new beginnings, new friends, new loves, new dreams, new goals, new scenery, new job. No matter what the next chapter holds, Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate will be there to help you find the new that's right for your lifestyle at any stage of your life. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Expect better.
Hi, we're Joe and Megan Malico, owners of Archery World up here in Lacey.
We're a full pro shop, so we have a full pro service also. We have a huge indoor range. We carry 11 bow lines, all the major bow lines, and then there's subsidiary companies too. Like if we carry Bowtech, we carry Diamond. If we carry Matthews, we carry Mission.
When you come in, we're going to ask you, what kind of price point you're looking for. What's your hope, what's your goals, what's your bow, and with that information in mind, we'll point you in the direction of, that price point bows, and then maybe give you the option to test fire, maybe a higher level bow, just so you can compare. But it really is all about getting what it is that's going to work for you.
We don't upsell anyone. They shoot it, they like it, they don't like it, they don't get it. We don't operate like that. And so if you need it and it puts you in the outdoors, we probably have it. So come down and see us.
Hey, welcome back in studio here to Wayne England, flying solo, with the exception of these three gentlemen sitting off to my right. But we're going to jump into a little fish talk here. Fisheries, what you need to know, brought to you by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons, located in Puyallup, Washington. And on the phone, it's been quite a while. Nice to get him back here. J-Rod, Jaime Rodriguez, J-Rod Angling, if you're following him on Facebook or social media, at Fishing with the Rods is where you can find him, and under all those titles I had just mentioned. J-Rod, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. How's it going over there?
It's going. Rain off and on today. You know, temperature can't decide what it wants to do, and you know, that kind of messes with the fish to a point. But we got you on tonight to talk a little bit of walleye fishing. We don't have a lot of that going on here unless I venture on down to the Columbia. But you definitely have some opportunity over there in a number of spots that we've talked over the years. Let's talk general areas this time of year and what's going on that east side. Some general areas on where folks can, you know, kind of lean on this year to try and find some opportunity when it comes to finding walleye.
Yeah. For the angler that wants to kind of get into walleye fishing and doesn't know too much about it initially, anything below a dam, it would be a good place to start. I primarily focus my efforts below the McNary Dam, and that stretches all the way down to the John Day Dam. That's pretty much my comfortable waters. But again, over here you have the Tri-Cities area, and you have the John Day, and then of course the Dalles in that area. But I primarily focus my efforts below the McNary Dam, and it's a good fishery, healthy fishery down there. And it should get going pretty good here coming up after this runoff and the spawn that we're about to experience here shortly.
Yeah, we're kind of in that pre-spawn time frame. I'm going to get into that here just a little bit. What we're kind of getting into that area. I think you almost mentioned there. We're getting out of that winter time, getting into early spring. These things will start acting a little different. If guys are out there, you know, looking for walleye, what should they rely on to find them? Electronics, sure, but kind of how do you conduct business and going about locating fish, and as we kind of transition towards this pre-spawn that's not too far down the road here, what are some techniques you use to find these critters?
Well, yeah, especially if you're not familiar with that body of water, like you mentioned, yeah, your electronics, you get on there and you can kind of dial it in from there, but there's just if you just use your eyes and just see and look for certain things. When I go out, usually I'm looking for, in particular, you have a dam and you have current breaks. So if you could find the current break, those fish will be right off of that current break. And I like to do a lot of, just before I even get into my electronics, if I could physically see like an island or a peninsula, then I'll go and motor over and see what exactly kind of structure, or if there's structure, or if there's contours, or exactly what's going on there. So before you kind of dial it in with your electronics, for me, is kind of just get a lay of the land, so to speak. Just kind of get up there and just kind of see what kind of structure some land is going on, and then you could go in there and see if maybe you see like a rock pile or a sunken island and stuff like that. Mouth of a river is a good spot to try initially when you're getting familiar with a certain area. It's just anywhere where an ambush predator such as a walleye would, hang out and find easy feed, easy bait fish, so to speak.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we don't have a lot of vegetation growth this time of year until we start getting a lot more sunlight penetrating the water, and they move up towards the shallows. But so we're looking for those structures that you can denote definitely with your electronics, and that makes perfect sense to kind of look for those, flow areas and those depressions and those structures as you've alluded to. Let's talk a little bit about this pre-spawn. So, what kind of triggers walleye as they head towards that spawn phase? Is it moon? Is it water temperature? Is it a combination of both? What are your thoughts?
The trigger, the initial spawn, from what I've gathered throughout the years and read, and actually kind of seen, because I've been on the water when the fish were spawning, and my success rate wasn't that good, because when they're spawning, they're busy. They're having babies, so they're not really worried about feeding. So I think it's a combination of the moon phase. They say anyway that the first full moon in March, the initial fish will start to spawn. That combination with comboed with the water temp, they should start get going initially with that first full moon, and then well into April, and should be done by then, or if not by May, But yeah, I think it's more of the water temp. Once that water temp hits that certain spot, then they're going to get going. But you know, if they have that 45, 47, 50 degree water, and you know there's a full moon out, they're all probably gonna start spawning out there.
Yeah, makes sense. So okay, we've located them. We kind of have a general area where we see some activity that we're going to target. You know, what kind of depth might we be looking at, and also, does that kind of give us options of blade bait jigging this time of year? Are we're going to troll some cranks? We're going to troll some bottom walkers and some worm harnesses? What's kind of the go-to once you've located them in any particular depth of water?
For me, on my boat, my go-to is going to be the worm harness rig, whether it's the double hook harness or the super slow death. That's kind of my go-to. Throw in some crank action in there. Jigs, I catch fish on jigs. Yeah, everybody has their own certain way that they target them, and they catch every single presentation catches fish all year long on the Columbia River. But my go-to would be a worm harness coming off the spawn and shallow water. Because once they come off the spawn, then the water starts warming up. Then these fish go back on the feed, and then they'll be in shallower, weedy water off structure and points and peninsulas. And it's for me, it's fun. It's a fun way to catch them. It's a fun way to enjoy the weather. With the, you know, you got, even if you have inexperienced anglers in the boat, a bottom bouncer with a worm harness rig is a good way to catch some fish.
Yeah, how about colors? We have a ton of options, you know, greens, yellow chartreuses, certain times of the year. I mean, that golden black, that golden scale with black mylar on those, you know, on those smile blades seem to get it done. But there's so many options, almost at times you're frozen with indecision. So how do I pick my top 2 or 3 performers this time of year? And I think, you know, well, let's see if we can't drill down on it a little bit. Give me a couple options this time of year with all the conditions we've talked about and kind of where we're heading. Give me a cloudy day versus, say, a sunny day.
Okay, so I have a cloudy kind of dialed in for darker colors. It's kind of initial. I'm sure people have heard of this. Cloudy, you go darker, and then high bright skies.
Sure.
You want to go with lighter colors, and I tend to stick to that. But I have my favorites. You know, I got my purples, my golds, my translucents, and like you mentioned, the Mylar blade. I'm a Max guy, and so the Smile blade is definitely my go-to for my presentation. But a lot of it too, if you could get real dialed in, if you could see what the bait fish, if there's bait fish, maybe you catch a fish and you fillet it and you see what it has in its belly. It's always good to see what they're feeding on.
Sure.
And you could mimic your presentations with the Max products.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, and then there's a bunch of other stuff too that you could try too. There's a bunch of products out there, but again, you know, being a Max guy, it's just that's what gets it done for me.
That's pretty much what's in my boat too, for good reason. Now, anytime I've targeted a walleye, I seem to find success with it, right? So, how about
when you catch 12-pound walleye on Max stuff, it's hard to go away from it.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, right? So, what about our troll speed, J Rod? You know, at times, do you think folks might be trolling a bit too fast for them, especially this time of year with the water temperatures where they're at?
Oh yeah, definitely. With the water being in the 40s right now, still coming off, and it being cold, the fish are naturally lethargic.
Sure.
So the slower you go, it'd be better in my opinion. The longer you keep a big bait in their face and give them that much more time to decide whether they want to eat it or not, your success rate should go up, and that'll all change once we get that warmer water temperature and getting into the spring. You're gonna want to speed up just a little bit, and that's basically how I do it all year long, because I go for these fish all year, and it's just speed up as the water temperature heats up, I guess.
You know, one frustration with walleye I've experienced, I'm sure many others have as well, when you're dragging those worm harnesses, you know, them short strikes, right? They keep biting the end of that 1/3 tail end of the worm off the night crawler, and just really gets frustrating. And it seems like after they've done that, they don't like to come back and get after that thing. What kind of advice you have for those short strikes?
Definitely short strike. Go with short strike, light biters. Definitely pinch your crawler, so you don't have this, 2-foot crawler hanging behind the hook.
Yeah.
By the time he gets up to your hook, he's already full.
Sure.
So I'd pinch your crawler, and I'd probably, let me see. That's a pretty good question.
That's why I asked
I
it.
would go with the short. Yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would go with the. I might go with the little shorter leader. Even I don't know why. I mean, that just probably shorten everything up, and we'll make sure my hooks are sharp, and let's roll.
Have you experimented around with extending that trailer hook off even a little further? I've put that thing as far back as 6 inches before, and really hooked the bottom, 1/4 of that crawler stretched out, hook it into that sucker. I seem to, at times, can be pretty successful.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's definitely. I stick to 3 inches.
Okay.
On all my stuff. Yeah. All year round.
Sure.
But yeah, maybe even put a third one.
Yeah. How many hooks are legal, right?
If that's legal.
Yeah. Right.
If that's legal, put 3 or 4. I'm
Perfect.
just kidding. But yeah, I haven't really tried with that, but that might be something that I might try. Thanks for that.
Oh, there you go. Tip of the day. No charge for that, by the way. Use that to your advantage and let me know how it works. Hey,
what did you say, 6 inches?
Yeah. Here, I'll send you a ruler later. All right. Hey, before you get out of here, Walleye Willie Shootout Memorial Tournament's coming up in April. Let's make sure we make everybody aware of what that's all about and what's going on there.
Okay, so they have organized a memorial tournament for him April 2nd and 3rd. April 3rd if the weather's bad on the 2nd, essentially. So it's a $25 donation, asking donation, and it's going to go towards, in the name of Walleye Willie and his wife, towards Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation. All proceeds go towards that, and it's a $25 asking donation, like I said, and it's just going out, meeting at the Dalles down there in the gorge, and pretty much whoever catches the longest fish wins the prizes. But they're going to be doing raffles. There's a lot of people that got that they have as sponsors, and they're going to be giving away drawings, raffles, and stuff throughout the whole day. So April 2nd, I think it's 7 a.m. start time at the Dalles. And what's unique about it is you're able to just check in there and go fish any body of water that you feel comfortable fishing.
Well, it's a great opportunity for folks to get out and participate in some in remembrance of Walleye Willie. Phenomenal individual. Yep. Spent time with him multiple times over the years at fish camp. One of the best, in the Pacific Northwest when it comes to walleye, hands down, right? So his unexpected death caught everybody by surprise, and it's nice that we're able to put something together. We'll continue to remind folks to participate in that, and hopefully we get a really good turnout for that. And proceeds are going to an absolutely great cause for sure. Let's see.
Definitely.
Final thing on the docket here, you, my friend, are going to be a little more aggressive this season going into these walleye tournaments than you have in the past. Isn't that right? Kind of what I'm hearing.
Yes. Yep. I'm gonna. My goal is to fish 5 out of the 7 tournaments on the Columbia River Walleye Circuit, and I've been messing with them for the past couple of years, 1-2 tournaments a year, and this year I decided to pursue more tournaments.
Perfect. Well, we'll continue to follow you along on your social media and make sure we're posting it out there what you're involved with and how your success rate is going, and hopefully we can enjoy.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, hopefully we can enjoy following you along in the tournament, and you have great success. That would be fantastic. So.
Right on.
Buddy. Okay. Well, don't be surprised. I always say it. It's a matter of scheduling. But after sometime in May, my schedule opens right up, and that to me seems like a fantastic time of year to come over and jump in J-Rod's boat and learn a thing or two about walleye fishing. So don't be surprised when your phone rings.
Yeah, definitely. No, come down, bring the 4-season fighters too, and we'll get some of these guys out there on some walleye, create some memories over here on the water.
That would be fantastic, and they just all heard you say that, so that is definitely going to go on the calendar.
Somebody write it down.
Absolutely. All right, J-Rod, awesome.
Fish tacos.
Fish tacos, there you go. Fantastic. He is one and only J-Rod, Jaime Rodriguez, J-Rod Angling, and find him at Fishing with the Rods on social media. J-Rod, always a pleasure, my friend, and we'll stay in touch.
All right. You guys have a good one. Thanks a
buddy.
lot.
Okay, we'll talk to you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Yeah, he's a heck of a guy. Again, I met him years ago over there at Fish Camp as well, and we've hit it off. And he is a wealth of knowledge and been on the Max Pro staff for a number of years, does a fantastic job promoting and catches a lot of walleyes, second to none. So, all right, we'll jump out for a quick break. We come back, we're going to finish out with the Four Season Fighters guys here, answer a few questions you all may have. If you didn't get it in here, please post it up so when we come back from break, we can be sure to ask them. But we're going to dig a little deeper, find out what we can do to help support what it is they are out there doing to help those in need. And a few more topics to cover before we close it up for tonight. Don't go anywhere. Jump out for a couple minutes on the break. We'll be back right here at Fish on Northwest. Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. Defiance boats feature a 21 to 22 degree dead rise at the transom and a large reverse chine for incredible handling and stability offshore. Defiance boats are foam, flotation filled, and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Defiance boats feature fuel-efficient hull designs with large fuel tank capacity so that you can have maximum fuel range for making long offshore runs completely safe and affordable. All Defiance boats come standard with self-bailing decks for improved safety while at sea. Defiance Boat offers all our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Defiance Boats for all your boating needs, and let us help you get out on the water.
Today, the need for quality private security services is at an all-time high. Contract Security Service provides day-to-day peace of mind as they protect people and property. Phoenix Protective Corporation strives for excellence. Above all, Phoenix security officers are managed by leaders trained to inspire and encourage greatness. Here at Phoenix, we provide service for multiple state and federal contracts, with service ranging from uniform, patrol, alarm monitoring, canine detection, executive protection, as well as investigative work. We here at Phoenix are looking for highly motivated individuals to apply. If you're a vet, retired or active, and would like to work with us, please apply.
All right, welcome back to Fish on Northwest. As we wind it down here, close out the show with the Four Season Fighters. Guys, how'd you come up with the name of that is one question folks are asking.
That's Jose's name, right? And the goal was, you know, we wanted to let everybody know that we're doing something year round to try to make a difference. Right. And it's not, and you know, it's a struggle, right? Whether it's a mental struggle or it's a physical struggle, but I you know, Jose brought up a good point where he's like, I don't like the word struggle, right? He's like, I like to be moving forward and progressing and growing. And so I'm fighting through my day and fighting through my year. So I want to fight through the seasons with whoever it is that we're taking out. So he came up with a name all on his own, and it stuck, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, you know? It's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. So what, as we move through the year here, I mean, we're just now at the front edge of March. We've got an entire year ahead of us. You guys got some trips lined out? You got some trips planned with some folks? What's going on?
We do. We have a big one coming up here. We're driving down to Texas, and we're partnering with, Cameron Cushman, creator and producer of that video. Yep. He's on the board of another nonprofit called the Iron Freedom Foundation. Well, their mission is exactly the same as ours. Okay. But they float the Devil's River and they fly fish. So, I met Cameron through my neighbor, because my neighbor's his cousin. Okay. And she was like, hey, this guy, my cousin does some filming for his nonprofit, you know, maybe I can hook you guys up. And we talked January of 21, And then we talked about doing some filming. Filming was going to come up for Turkey, and we just couldn't line it up with our schedule and Cameron's schedule. And then he called me. He said, hey, we're going to do this couples trip down to Colorado and go fly fish. We'll go up 12,000 feet elevation, teach, vets and their wives how to go. Do you want to go with your wife?
Oh.
And, it caught me,
Sure.
caught me off guard
Yeah.
because I'm used to asking the question.
Uh-huh.
So I called my wife, and she's, she's awesome. She supports me in everything I do, but doesn't really like going out and sleeping in the dirt and all that. So I called her and I said, hey, we have the opportunity to do something. I'm going to need you to say yes.
Yeah.
So she did, right?
Yeah.
And that trip was, for me, was life-changing.
Sure.
Right? And it was life-changing because I find my peace in the woods. That's where I get to process and file all that garbage, right, that we talked about. That's
where you flush it, man.
Yeah, that's where I get to file it away. And so it gets tough because
I get it.
I got to give my wife the visual.
Sure.
Of she gets to see me where at least where I think I thrive.
Yep.
Right? And we had such a good connection with all the Iron Freedom Foundation. Will Cannon, their COO, and
he's on here, by the way. Will's on here.
The guy's a stud. He's a Calf Scout, but he's a stud.
Yeah. You're a stud, Will. Jury's in. Jury's weighed in. Yep, Will Cannon's a stud.
Yeah, and then there's Travis Runge and Cameron, and they kick ass.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, and we kind of talked sitting around the fire on that trip, like, well, what if we do a combination trip? We both have the same mission. Why don't we try to double down? And, Will and Cameron and Travis down there in Texas put this thing together, and, they've put a ton of effort into us and supported us, and helped us out with a lot of their sponsors and connections. And so we get to go down, and I don't want to give too much of it away because I don't know who's watching.
Sure,
right? But we're going to float the Devil's River, and then we're going to land on a private ranch, and we're going to go on an Aoudad ram hunt.
Oh, fantastic.
So it'll be cool. And then after that, turkey season opens up. We got a couple turkey trips planned.
You got spring trips lined up here coming up?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You going to film those?
Huge turkey hunter.
Tim's a turkey man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He says he's going to do it with a slingshot this year.
I'm gonna grab one right by the throat.
I believe it. Call him right on in. Eating out of your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Turkey in the spring, and then we usually do a depredation elk hunt.
Okay.
We get a velvet bull tag.
Okay.
And then we get into June, when we get into some of the fishing stuff.
Some of the fishing trips?
Yep.
We have a ton of people donating that, just because we haven't contacted you yet doesn't mean that we're not going to. Yeah. We've been a little busy.
Right,
so
if
you've contacted any of us, we will get a hold of you.
Right.
Promise. Because we have a lot of support from everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah. What do I do if I get contacted, and probably will, by some of our guides that we're connected with, and they say, hey, them guys have anybody want to come join me at Buoy 10, like in August, or when we get Chinook opportunity and fishing open up in June out of Westport or stuff like that. What can I send them your way?
Send them our way.
Okay.
The need is far surpassed.
You got folks lined up willing to go on trips, wanting to go on trips.
Yep.
Okay, absolutely. What can persons who aren't in industry, maybe they're friends or coworkers of firefighters, cops, servicemen and women, or they're just tuning into the show here tonight or through the weekend. They want to contribute. They want to help out. What's the best thing they can do for you? I mean, financially, can they donate? Can they volunteer at any level to help out with some of these events or anything? What can you offer for people to help out with?
One thing real quick, just so everybody knows, this is 100% voluntary.
Yeah.
Both nonprofits, IFF and Four Season Fighters there's nobody making money.
Right.
100%. So the biggest thing is money.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And it's expensive to gear somebody out.
Right.
And all of our money, that's why we don't have a ton of swag.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're small.
Swagger,
we're growing, right? 3, 4.
Swag.
Yeah. Swag. Yeah. Right. Right. Because we try to put as much money as we can back into the vets, the firefighters, the police officers, right? And just to support the mission. So, any amount helps. Right. Yep. And then, anything anybody wants to donate, time, right? Volunteers. We're Mike's wife actually right now is getting a golf tournament together for us in July.
Oh,
and
nice.
then we'll have
Yep.
Gala.
She's working. Yeah, I think, so there's a website,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can go on there and you can donate there. And then, like Zach said, my beautiful bride, she's kind of taking over for event stuff. So we're going to try and do a golf tournament. I think we're looking at maybe Suncadia in June, June, July somewhere. And then having a gala, like an auction, silent auction dinner.
Yeah,
kind of fundraising deal later in the towards the end of September, maybe something like that. But like Tim said, I mean, it's we have a lot of good companies and people that are partnering and like people that want to help us out. Like we can never have too many hands. The equipment is great, but then at the end of the day, like with this Texas trip or other trip, it comes down to flying people places or paying for And if for us, the important part with what we do is if we're taking Dwayne out, like it's top to bottom, right? So we're covering everything for you, and so that's the part that gets expensive, right? 'Cause we want to outfit all these guys and gals. We want to feed them. We want to treat them. So those are probably right now the biggest some of the ways that people can donate and
Okay, well, we'll definitely be steering folks to your webpage, donation page, and whatnot. Try to build your coffers with some monies to be able to continue doing what it is you guys are doing, because it's fantastic. And
appreciate it.
I really appreciate the folks you're helping. The persons in uniform. There's a lot of stuff out there for the vets, and sometimes firefighters and cops get forgotten about. And so the fact you guys are hitting a 3-pronged approach here is most impressive and very much appreciated. So
appreciate you. Yeah. And before I forget, like you asked the other way people can help, family members, right? If there's people or whether family, friends, like could be good candidates, or people say, hey, I got a brother, a nephew, a husband, a wife, whatever. Yeah. Like send them our way too, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
And remember, you don't have to be physically disabled, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be,
just be struggling
with all sorts of different things. Yep.
Yeah. And struggles, different for everybody, right? So
absolutely.
Feel free to send us an email and say, hey, I'd love to go on a fishing trip, and this is who I am, this is my story, just
kind of what I've been dealing with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for making the drive to come on down and get this party started. We're just getting started. We have a lot to do with these folks. We'll be remaining in contact with them for sure. Four Season Fighters, look them up. Go to their webpage,
www.fourseasonfighters.org.
Okay, and .org, and check them out on Facebook. Give their Facebook and social media a follow, like and follow if you would please. Let's help them boost their numbers so they get more exposure. And check it out, everything that they got going on. Contribute if you can. Every little bit helps. Want to thank you guys again for coming in tonight. It's been fantastic. It's not always about just fishing, hunting, bonking, and killing. I mean, we like to kind of bring in other elements out there that are going on, make people aware of, hey, there are some pretty good people out there doing some pretty amazing things, and you folks need to hear about it. So that was the intent of the show. I hope you all enjoyed it. Appreciate everybody signing on tonight, paying attention. Take this content, share it with your friends, expose these gentlemen to as many folks as you can. Give them all the support and love in the world as we can, and do our best here at Fish Hunt Northwest. So that's going to do it for me, for us. This evening, we'll be back next week, 6 p.m. right here in the studios once again, bringing you all that is relevant throughout the week. Get out there through the weekend. Spend some time on the water. We got some great opportunity tomorrow and Saturday, of course. Locally for Blackmouth, CQ is open 7 days a week, 2 fish per day. Hatchery Mark Select. Springer fishing's going on. Get over there and get some walleye. Trust me, folks, there's plenty to do. Time to take advantage of it. Get out there. Have a safe week. We'll see you back here next Thursday, 6 p.m. Take care.